In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at pinpoint accuracy of correcting vitiligo on hand. We begin with cleansing the skin on the hand with the Clean & Care Natural Micellar Water. The next stage is to ensure that the skin on the hand is well moisturized so that the makeup has a nice base to sit onto. Next, we're going to be using the Dermacolor Camouflage Cream to select appropriate skin tones to cover the vitiligo. We really have to pay particular attention to the nuances of color that naturally occur. So you can see along the finger of the skin that's unaffected, when we get right around the knuckle, it's slightly darker. You might have more redness around the nails. Here we've got a darker patch, and then we have the redness that then goes into the more neutralized skin tone that we see on the rest of the arm. So I'm going to be using the skin tone that we can naturally see in this kind of area of the hand, but I'm also going to have one slightly darker and slightly lighter, so I can be mixing the three in with each other. So using smaller, more intricate brushes is essential to be pinpointing the areas that we need to target. It can be a lot more controlled when you have a smaller brush. When you're working in and around the knuckle, it will be essential that you manipulate the finger, get the client to be moving them so that the creases are separated, so that when you're applying the product, it's already sitting into the crease. Again, I'm using the heat from my finger to help warm the product and press that in so that it connects down onto the skin more effectively. So now as we move into this part in between the fingers where we can see a little bit of the affected skin here, the pigment's already started to change, so the skin's getting slightly darker here. So I'm going to be introducing a little bit more of the darker tone that I'm using from the Dermacolor range, just so that we start to replicate the impression of the skin here that's slightly richer in tone. We need to be a little bit careful that we've got that natural redness of the knuckle here, but we've got skin tone here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be camouflaging the affected areas of the vitiligo with the skin tone, and then I'm going to use our corrector color D32 just to touch on the knuckle there where we've got a tiny little bit of the affected area of vitiligo going onto the knuckle, and that will just help to replicate that natural redness in the skin. For this, I'm going to use a dual fiber brush, and I just want this to give a hint of the natural pigment that we can see here on the knuckle. I'm literally just going to use the very tips of the brush, stipple over the knuckle to recreate that natural redness that's occurring in the skin. This is a very, very subtle application, but in cosmetic camouflage, some of the smaller details are the things that actually become the thing that makes the camouflage the most believable. So you've got to pay particular attention to the knuckle areas, making sure that you're not applying too much product, because it will eventually sit into the lines and then there'll be creasing again. We just want to make sure that the product is sitting well into the skin and not going to create any creasing later on. So now we're going to powder the application with the Dermacolor fixing powder. So I'm now going to press and roll the fixing powder over the applicated areas. You really want to make sure that you're pressing the powder into the creases of the knuckle as well. Likewise with the thumb and fingers, making sure that you're really pressing into them creases and getting in between the fingers as well. The Dermacolor won't set without the fixing powder. It is a 3-part system, so you do need to use the camouflage cream, the setting powder, and the fixer spray. So again, if you want to ensure that your application of makeup is water resistant, make sure you leave the excess powder sitting on the skin for 10 to 15 minutes. Then with a clean powder brush, we're just removing the excess powder that will be sat on the skin. Then the final part of the 3-part system is the Dermacolor fixing spray. It's advisable when applying the fixing spray that you hold it 15 to 20 centimeters away from the skin. You want to be going for more of a mist than a jet spray. The Dermacolor fixing spray contains sun protection SPF of 20. The fixer spray also brings back a natural sheen to the surface of the skin, which gives a lot more of a natural impression. So to remove the Dermacolor, we're going to be using the cleansing oil from the same range. When approaching the removal of Dermacolor, you need to break through both of the layers. So we're breaking through the fixer spray and the fixing powder. So it's advisable to press and hold the oil onto the area for a few seconds before removal, just so that it can penetrate the 2 barriers of the fixing stage. And then you can gently remove the product Thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section. And if you enjoyed today's tutorial, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.